What if the very relationship that hurts you is the one your brain insists that you need to survive? What if leaving doesn't feel like freedom, but like withdrawal? For individuals living with complex post-traumatic stress disorder, relationships are not just emotional experiences. They are neurobiological events. Trauma doesn't simply live in the memory. It embeds itself in the nervous system, shaping perceptions, attachments, and your decision-making. One of the most misunderstood consequences is trauma bonding, a very powerful psychological attachment formed through cycles of harm and intermittent reward. To an outside observer, the question is simple. Well, why don't they just leave? But inside the mind shaped by a chronic trauma, the question is far more complex. Well, how do I leave what my brain has learned to depend on? So trauma bonding is not a failure of willpower. It is a result of a deeply conditioned psychological processes. In individuals with complex PTSD, early or prolonged trauma often disrupts the development of the secure attachment systems. This leads to heightened activation of the amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, paired with dysregulation in the prefrontal cortex, which governs your reasoning and your decision-making. When a harmful relationship includes intermittent kindness, apologies, affection, brief safety, it activates the brain's dopaminergic reward system. This creates a pattern known as intermittent reinforcement, one of the most powerful conditioning mechanisms in behavioral psychology. The result? The brain begins to associate unpredictability with hope. At the same time, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis remains chronically activated, thus keeping the body in a state of hypervigilance. Cortisol and adrenaline flood the system during the conflict, followed by oxytocin released during reconciliation. This biochemical roller coaster strengthens the emotional dependency, what researchers describe as neurochemical attachment loop. Over time, the cognitive distortions emerge. Trauma-driven loyalty, but they didn't mean it. Minimizing the harm is really not that bad. Or self-blame. Well, if I were better, then this wouldn't have happened. These are not conscious choices. They are adaptive survival strategies learned in unsafe environments. Decision-making becomes compromised through what is known as the state-dependent functioning. When the nervous system is dysregulated, the brain prioritizes immediate emotional relief over long-term safety. Leaving the relationship doesn't just feel difficult, feels dangerous, and also guilt and shame. Because of the traumatization brain, familiar pain is safer than unfamiliar and uncertainty. So what do we do with this kind of understanding? First is we have to shift the narrative from judgment to compassion. Trauma bonding is not weakness. It is really a reflection of how powerfully the human brain adapts to survive. So the second is that we need to recognize that breaking a trauma bond is not just a behavioral decision. It actually is a neurobiological healing process. It requires re-regulation of the nervous system, rebuilding of internal safety, and often the trauma-informed therapeutic support, guided meditations, yoga, earthing, cognitive behavior therapy. And finally, if you or someone you love is caught in this kind of a cycle, so know this, awareness is the first disruption of the pattern. But every moment of clarity weakens the bond. Every act of self-compassion rewires the system, and every step towards safety, no matter how small, is a reclaiming of the self. Because healing from trauma is not just about leaving. It's really about teaching the brain that safety no longer has to hurt. And if you want to know more about complex PTSD and trauma bonding, gaslighting, you may want to look into the book that I have just published on breath being body, mindful healing journey into complex post-traumatic stress disorder. It is actually available on Amazon. And if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment or two for me.